everybody, and welcome to Dynamic GT League's Race 4 of the Wevo Championship from Suzuka. For a moment then, I forgot what track we was at. And as we get to take a quick look at the standings, joining us on commentary is Ray. I hope you're well, Ray.
Yep, one dabby dozy.
I hope you're still that way in about 40 minutes as we get through the commentary here today. The standings, Demon R leading the way by 2 points from SRI. And for anyone that doesn't know, this championship is a wet season. All the races will start absolutely soaking wet. And the drivers are in Evos, which is why it's called the Wevo Championship. And the grids will be set by the championship standings. So Ray, would you like to take us through the start of the grid?
Yeah, first place we've got Demon R leading the championship, followed by SRI in second place. Then we've got SJP in third place, and he's followed by Steve F1 in fourth place.
Who looked like he was outside of his grid box.
We've got Nelly in fifth, followed by Jason, and then Twilight seventh. Who's that? Rich Blues in eighth, and then is that? Hey,
yep.
Hey, ninth. Gary 10th. Critical 11th. Who's that?
It's Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy's sorry, Jimmy and Art Pal at the back, because Art Pal has missed a couple of races, so...
That he has. Okay, so here we go then. The lights are coming on. We're at 4 lights, 5 lights, and away they go! And it's a good start from Demon R by the looks of it. I'm sure he'll be wanting to go for that right-hand side, right? One, to cover off any attack, but two, because nobody wants to be on the racing line when they hit the brakes.
No, they don't. It'll be a wee bit slippery. Let's see how they get through turn 1 and 2. Very consecutive corners.
Yeah, someone went a little wide. I think it might have been Twilight on the exit of 2. And then we're through the knuckles. This is going to be so tricky for the drivers because of having to cross the racing line so many times. It's definitely not going to be fast through here. And we may see a lot of different lines being used. So Steve F1 having a look around the outside of SGP, can't get it done. See if they can all get through Dunlop, which is the left-hander up here, without running wide. But I think somebody just did dip a wheel. As SGP's now trying to attack SRI down towards the Degners. Can't quite get it done though. This area, Ray, as Nelly gets a bit wide on the pack cam. Yeah, this area of the track going to be very dangerous for the drivers. Ooh.
Steve F1 with a wiggle there. That's going to put him under pressure from Jason.
Right.
In the lead, Jason's got him.
Yeah, I was going to say he's not under pressure. He's past him. So yeah, just goes to show. Oh, and Nelly with another little bit of a. I think SRI's had a little wobble as well. As we have a look at the weather radar again, folks, we can't give the best view of that, but as it's getting a bit bumpy on the pack cam, we'll see the weather radar throughout this event. So Spoon, Ray. Well, that's not. I'm not offering. It's more. Tell us about the treacheries of Spoon Inc. Babies.
Sorry, the what?
the treacheries of Spoon Inc. It's babies.
Oh.
If you do too much spooning, you end up with babies.
No, because you need to turn it around and then it's not classified as spooning.
No, it's forking. Boo boo. Oh, right, okay, yeah, so tell us about the dangers of Spoon then. As Steve F1 coming under pressure from Nelly now, and it's busy on the pack cap once again.
Well, on the way in, there's a chance of braking and cutting over onto the racing line and getting slippery. As I think Steve F1 or something, Jason. No, I thought people were battling it, but it's not. And then, because it's a double left-hander, you're crossing that racing line multiple times, so there's a chance you can lose it, and then if you go too late on the brakes, you're going to go straight on, maybe go on for quite some time, because it's a big run-off error.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen it in the races so far, haven't we? You go off of the track and you end up going to places you've never been before. SGP trying to put a bit of pressure on SRI. Demon R's opened up a little bit of a gap. The pack still right as well. Oh, is that Jimmy in the background with a bit of a spin? I think it might have been. It's Critical now putting pressure on Nelly. And Rich Blues is passing someone. I think that was Nelly. Or trying to. No.
No, he's not past Nelly yet. May have been Art Pal, he was...
Oh, no, it was Gary. He's
just nailed.
Yeah, by Twilight. I think it was Gary who was passing. I saw blue roof, and Gary's got a blue roof, so yeah, it might have been him. Okay, so as they make their way through the hairpin for the second time, you know what?
Even ours broke away.
Yeah, it broke away a little bit, got a bit of a gap. But to be fair, in these conditions, the Steve F1 now putting the pressure on Jason. I see Jason's going to go defensive here, I reckon, and that's where you really want to break for this corner. Let's see if we can get everybody round. Oh, Steve F1 up the inside, a bit of contact. Oh no, and here comes the park. Oh, it's a car park. Oh dear.
Gave him some lip service there.
And Twilight says, thank you very much. What a move. Oh, and there's still cars going up. I think Nelly. Oh, and Jimmy. He just went straight on there. Oh, you know what? It's absolutely pissing it down now, right down the back straight here. I think it's actually raining harder than it was to begin with.
Yeah, the window wiper's gone a wee bit fast actually. I don't know, do they speed up and slow down with the amount of rain?
You know what? I don't know.
I've never checked.
You know, they might do, you know, because they do look like they're going a bit quick. So,
Oh,
yeah.
somebody went right instead of left there. I don't know who it was.
Oh, hey, into the pits. I think someone else is heading into the pits as well as Demon Oz. Not got that gap up at the front anymore. SRI on the back of him. So I'm wondering if Demon Oz had a bit of a moment somewhere, perhaps through the final chicane. It looks like Twilight on the pack cam trying to get around that final corner as well. Finding it a bit tricky. No, he's heading into the knuckles. What am I on about?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, the three in the top. Are these the leaders at the moment? The top three? I think they are.
Might be, yeah. DNR started first, SRI second, and SGP third. Yeah, Critical up to fourth place. Gary up to fifth. Rich Blue sixth. Jimmy seventh, battling with Art Pal here down towards the Deckners. And again, you don't want to really. Well, actually, no, you do want to be on the racing line here, heading into the Deckners, but you don't want to be where Gary went. Oh, he was deep. He may still be deep. No, he's up there. He's back on the road. He's going. But yeah, it's a bit of an odd one, the Degners. Oh, look at the weather radar. Okay, we've got a bit of a weather change on the horizon as Rich Blue's making the move on Art Pal, or should I say, fending Art Pal off for the moment.
I wasn't looking, I was writing a note.
This bit here.
Oh, Rich is on the grass. Is he going to have dirty tyres coming into the braking zone? He might get away with it. Let's see.
Jason having a look.
Jason tries to squeeze up there while Jimmy going round the outside.
Art Pal's got the move.
For Jimmy.
No, it hasn't worked for Rich either. Art Pal got the move done round the outside and away he goes. As they're now side by side behind Jason. And that weather change we can see on the radar is a little bit of an easing up of the rain coming, which is a good thing for everybody, especially if you're going side by side. Oh, Jimmy's wide, I think. Did he go wide? No, he's all right. Oh, it's so difficult in these conditions to see just exactly what the cars are doing and where they're going.
Oh, Nelly with a great move around the outside so far. Is he going to complete it coming down start-finish straight? Yes, he has. He went round the outside into the first part of the chicane of Jason.
Lovely stuff. So down into turn one, we've mentioned it a few times, you don't want to be breaking on the racing line. Jason's going for the inside, he'll have more stability, it's 3 wide. Nelly going for a move on Jimmy. Jason going for a move on Nelly. Nelly's gone deep. I don't know if it was assisted, but he's going deep again.
Yeah, 3 wide into there, as in, it won't work in the wet. It might work in the dry, but in the wet, it's not going to work because you hit that racing line, you're going to start sliding out wide.
I mean,
So,
have you any idea then why I may have said a moment ago that, okay, for turn 1, yeah, you don't want to be on the racing line for the braking point, but for the Degners, you do want to be on the racing line. Any idea why that might be?
because of sharpness of the corner.
It could well be. I do think it's the case. If you take the inside, oh, Gary's off again at the Degners.
Somebody else behind them off as well.
Yeah.
As we see, oh, Nelly and Jimmy having a wee bit of a rub-a-dub-dub.
All right, in the tub. It might be wet,
Yeah.
but we ain't got no sun. Oh, someone's got off and done a bit of a fiat. Is that Rich
Right.
Blues? Yeah, it was. Oh, Jimmy and Nelly just had another coming together. Nelly got through. But yeah, with the Degners, it's one of those where if you take the off the racing line towards the entry, when you get towards the apex and you're crossing that racing line, it will just slide off. So you are better off on that corner, breaking on the racing line nice and early and having a smooth entry. Jimmy sideways, Gary off.
Yeah, Nelly having a wee bit of moment going into Spoon as well. They're all kicking off in the back with their having little moments.
Absolutely. On the pack cam as well, it looks like that slightly drier bit of racetrack is beginning to appear as Twilight and Nelly. Twilight goes deep, Nelly goes for a switchback. What a beautiful bit of driving from the pair of them. Okay, well, let's watch them crash. Oh no.
You've commented to just it.
Yeah, okay, SRI's closed in on Demon R once again. Go on.
Is it a moment in last chicane again? It's
Maybe.
only turn 1. SRI had it was the last lap as well. The lap before SRI picked back up on him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or was it the lap
I think it
before
might
that?
have been the lap before. Okay, we're 3 wide again on the pack cam behind Jason and Art Power. SRI still behind Demon Art. Critical has closed that gap up to SGP. And the thing is, as the track begins to dry a little bit, I mean, the wipers are still going, Ray. It's still raining, but the track is drying a little bit. Yeah, where you want to position your car may differ. The grip may be in different places. It could get very tricky for the drivers here. But I've got to say, so far, this has been a fascinating race. And Arpal all over the back of Jason, Critical, having a look and trying to make a move on SGP, but doesn't go for it up the inside of the Degners, which is a wise move. Let's see how these guys get on then into the Degners. Arpal, is he going to struggle?
Oh,
Not quite.
Jason just covering them all. And would you go for an attack into the Degners or wait till coming out and go for the hairpin?
I would personally, I'd probably dummy an attack, just because of how difficult it is. If you go up the inside, the chances of you drifting wide and putting someone off is huge. So yeah, I'd probably dummy the move. I'd get someone trying to defend into them, I think, and then look at the move either into the hairpin or continue getting them out of position up towards Spoon and do them on the back straight. I mean, overtake them on the back straight.
Steve F1's in that pack.
Oh yes, he is. What is he doing? But well, you know what? He was in that big crash, wasn't he? I wonder if he pitted at the same time as Hay. You know what? It'd be interesting because Hay pitted early, same time. Well, pitted early just after that crash. I'm wondering if Steve F1 pitted and went for a set of intermediate tyres or something. Okay, looking at Demon R and SRI once again. And yeah, SRI really putting the pressure on. The top 2 in the championship standings is on the pack cam. Artpower has got everybody else right up his shoulder.
Yeah, and SGP's got Critical behind him. But SRI's pulling out of Demon R's slipstream onto the racing line. He's kind of followed the racing line through there.
Yeah, maybe the racing line is beginning to get a bit of grip now, and Steve F1 is on the intermediate tyre. And I tell you what, I think the conditions right now are good for the Inters, looking at the moisture gauge, and looking at how the track... and looking at how the circuit is looking on the pack cam. Obviously, the pack cam has been the best camera angle to see the condition of the actual track, hasn't it, in the races so far. As SRI really putting some pressure on, really putting all dip to wheel nearly. Can they both get through these? Oh, and a little flash of his Tic Tacs as well. I think just the SRI.
I think there was a little bump there, and that's him just letting him Demon Arnold's steps.
Okay. Well, interesting as oh yeah, look at how much the track is beginning to dry around here.
Yeah, you can see kind of dryish racing line coming through.
I mean, there is, but there's still a lot of water being kicked up by these guys. So, I mean, especially looking at where SRI's positioning his car now, I don't think it's a situation for slick tyres. But then we've been wrong about that before.
No wonder, remember, where are we?
Go on.
Go. No, you go on.
No, you go. You won't.
No, you go.
No, you go. No,
no, you go.
Okay, so
I am in front now. I'll go then.
Okay, that's all right. Takes the lead. Does he run wide? No, he doesn't. But as I was saying a lap ago, with the circuit beginning to dry a little bit, yeah, where the grip will be could differ massively. And actually, the circuit does look like it's beginning to dry up quite nicely. And look at the amount of wear the drivers have. Okay, front two. Yeah, and critical. Okay, so SGP's carried on. He's got a bit of wear on his tyres, but nothing massive. Interesting. Steve F.
What I was going to say is we're at Japan, aren't we? So the humidity and the heat in Japan, could we expect the track to dry up quicker then?
Possibly. I'm hearing a lot of doo-doo, doo-doo. It might be my computer, but yeah, maybe a few doo-doos.
Check the time.
It's still recording. Oh, pal!
Oh.
Big spin on his intermediate tyres. I wasn't really watching. As SRI, Demon R on slick tyres, I believe. As Demon R got a little bit wide. Artpal's on the intermediates. Critical closing in on the back of Demon R as well. Jason is on the hards. So Jason's actually jumped Demon R. I'm wondering if that was when Demon R got a little bit wide, or did Jason pit earlier? I think Demon R just got sideways, so go on.
I think Jason pitted a lap before.
I think you might be right. Yeah, he's got a little bit of wear on his tyres, yeah. Oh, look at the nice move through the Degners. I mean, you were saying, whoa, Demon R! Yeah, it's a little bit slippy out there.
Yeah, Demon R just coming sideways round that corner.
Oh, interesting. Gary's tyres have burnt up on this lap.
I wonder how SGPs are holding out.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had a fair amount of tyre left at the start of the lap. Nelly's pulling away from Gary. I don't know if Nelly's on the inters or the wets. He's on the inters and they're burning up. I think I thought I saw like water spray coming off the exit spoon.
There's SGP's tyres.
Oh my goodness me. Right, okay. That's a massive drop off in tyre wear for SGP there. So Gary's going to be suffering with that as well. That's going to be huge because Jason might be the lead car on slick tyres at the moment. Oh, hey, he's got a bit wide. He's on inters and his inters are gone. Wow.
And Artpal was wide as well. His inters are nearly gone.
Yeah.
How's Steve F1's inters? Oh no, he pitted.
Yeah.
He's pitted.
Okay, hey, trying to get to the pits. Artpal's carried on. Nelly was on the inters. Wow, okay, so this race has just really taken a massive turn there. And perhaps something we can talk about after the race, Ray, is as Artpal's looking for the moisture still.
Jason's went wide in the back cam, but he's kept it on.
He has, yeah. It's perhaps the sort of how the tyres have worn around here. We'll see if we can remember to talk about that at the end. Jason getting a little bit squirrely, and it's one of those situations now, isn't it, where it looks like the hard tyre is the right tyre to be on, but if you go a little bit off that dry bit, you're going to be going a long way off on the wet bit.
Yeah, then you don't want to be touching that part of the side. Oh, critical. don't know if he had a moment or that was his line he was taking. He was quite close to the edge.
Jason, moisture, nice slide. Can you tell it? Oh, critical trying as well. Gets a wobble on mid-corner and ends up wide. So easily done in that corner. I think for both of Jason and Critical there, it was just a little bit too much curve. Oh, well, look at the weather radar. Oh, dear.
There's something coming.
Yeah, well, looking at that light blue cloud rain, it looks like rain is definitely on its way.
What's that going to do to the guys on Racing Hard? This Critical battling with Fart Pal into Spoon. He's got to watch because he'll maybe be on a bit of wet. No, SGP's on the wet. SGP's went out wide.
Yeah, got massively out wide. He's disappeared completely. There he is. But yeah, Arpal was on the inters and had a bit more grip in the corner, but his inters have gone off. And I was kind of setting you up there, Ray, to say, well, the light blue doesn't mean rain.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't.
That's alright, that's alright. I'll try again. Well, it looks like we've definitely got rain on the way, Ray.
But the light blue is only clouds, rain clouds. It doesn't mean it's going to rain. It's just going to be clouds.
I've never knew that. Fascinating.
You didn't know that?
No, well,
I'm sure we've told a few times.
Well, maybe it's just my memory. Critical has headed into the pits.
Well, yeah.
Oh, Jason!
Anyway.
Oh, he got it. Yeah. Oh, he nipped it or dicked it. Both. I think he just got.
Rain.
Oh, it definitely is raining. SRI's got off from the lead. Twilight spinning on the pack cam. Oh, and SRI's in the middle of the road still. Oh, and Demon R takes the lead. And yeah, it's pushing it down. So I thought you said light blue don't mean rain.
Is it green?
It might be. To be fair, there was light blue, but there was other blue in there. Yeah, so we've just been through, I think, a yellow.
A yellow.
Yeah. Yeah, the third highest level of intensity. And by the looks of it,
look what's coming.
Oh, Demon on the straight on. Oh no. Okay, Steve F1 now takes the lead of the race. And Critical pitting early for the intermediate time. Oh, it's hammering it down, and Nelly's gone off. And Demon R's still off. And Nelly's still off. Oh my god. What the hell is going on? Go on.
Here comes Critical. Is he going to get back? No! Oh, Nelly.
And Demon R's still off on the other side of the track. Oh, perfect. Hey, it's got a penalty. Twilight passing Demon R. Formerly Gary's on the hards. Rich Blues is on the inters. And look, it looks like we've got more weather coming in as Steve F1 and SRI, the two leaders of the race, are still on slick tyres in a circuit condition that needs a full wet, really. It's for them.
Oh, with 70 mile an hour around that corner.
Okay.
Oh, SRI. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see if they can get round the R1 at 30. Where'd you break? What speed you go? That's too quick. Bye, Miss American Pie. So, Steve F1 retakes. There's been about 6 lead changes in this lap. Jim is massively off as well on the pack cam. SGP. He's gone. Oh, he's not in the tyres. He may get another penalty for cutting the corner. Arpal, and well, Critical, going for those inters, is now in second place. And Steve
F1's carried on, SRI, LGP in the pits. Arpal in the pit.
Yeah, Arpal's on the full wet. Okay. Hey, hasn't pitted either unless he pitted before. But Critical, he's going to catch Steve F1. Steve F1 is now there. Wow. Oh!
Yep.
Gary's had a big crash.
Oh, that's at the last chicane.
Yeah, that's slick tyres on the wet circuit.
Was Prost beside him?
It might have. Oh, Critical making the move on Steve F1. I don't know if we saw it on the main screen, but we definitely saw it on the pack cam. Oh, Pal going around the outside of Steve F1. There's nothing Steve F1 can do here. Other than now try and stick it out, but if more rain comes, he's up the creek without a paddle. In here, you need a paddle.
I can hear that more rain, more rain.
Bloody hell, yeah, there's more rain. So this is going to benefit Pal. Yeah, Critical, sorry, goes a little bit wide. He's on the inters. It could just be too much moisture for those. They'll be okay, but the wets will be better. Still trying to fight on the inside, but goes deep, gives Pal a nudge off. He shouldn't really be waiting for him on that one.
Yeah, Steve F1's struggling to get round the corner and he's racing hard there.
Yeah.
There's more, it's still raining.
Oh my goodness, it's coming down hard. I'm a bit surprised Critical hasn't let Pal.
He's on intermediates. He might catch Steve F1. There's Steve F1.
Yeah, you're right. So Hay must have gambled early for the inters as well, because he's legit now 4th place and he's all over Steve F1. Everybody else who has recently pitted is probably about 10 seconds behind these two. Hay going for the move. He's looking a little bit slippery for the inters.
Let's see who's on the wets. Arpal's on the wets compared to Critical. Arpal's later on the brakes.
Yeah.
Did he nudge Critical? Yeah, it looks like that, because he's not overtook him.
What? So I thought SGP would have a massive crack on the pack cam. It was certainly pain. So yeah, bit of an interesting one. It could have been tempting for Arpal to still make that move. It did look like there was contact at the hairpin. Arpal up the inside, so where you want to be. Critical may run wide. No, manages to hold on for the moment, but no, now he's running wide. This is where there's just a little bit too much moisture for the inters. Jason's pitted. Has he gone early from wets or slicks?
It doesn't look to be raining anymore, so I'm going to go for wets. What was he on? Was he not on full wets?
He was on inters. Okay, so Arpal's managed to get the move done through the knuckles. I mean, it's like touch and go whether you could go for like which one's better, inters or wets. But on the weather radar a few minutes ago, we did see that the rain. Well, yeah, I mean the windscreen wipers aren't going. Arpal goes deep. Just a little bit of contact. Oh, hopefully Critical won't get a penalty for that one. Hey might actually be closing the gap. Steve F1 still going on those slicks.
Yeah, now he's got SRI behind him.
Not for long. SRI's going to go for the move into the second deck. Steve F1 does not want to be out there. But all of these cars around him are on the slicks. I think he's raining more. No.
Demon R had to follow SRI through there. He doesn't want to let SRI get any bit of a gap as they're side by side coming out the hairpin. I think SRI's still in front. You take that tighter line.
You know what?
But there's a dry line coming again.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It looks like that drier line is coming again, but obviously next to Jimmy's gone deep. Next to it, it's very, very wet, and right over there is very, very wet as well, isn't it, Jimmy?
Yes.
Okay, so Demon R all over the back of SRI. I think in a way it might be worth these two working. Actually, Demon R is bump drafting SRI. SRI nearly dipped a wheel on the grass on the outside of the way in, but both get through the corner. Arpal's carried on, Critical's carried on, Steve F1's carried on, Hay into the pits. Oh, Jimmy trying to turn in, but there was a car there. A question for you, I mean, would you do what Steve F1's doing now? Because you know what, it looks like those on the inters and wets. And go, SRI was on the wets. Well, it looks like a few we're getting rid of them.
Yeah, what they're going for. We've not had our weather radar as we see these two fighting again up at the front, so is it I think it's becoming inter tyre now. Is Critical's making the move on Artpal.
Yep.
Let's see if Artpal can stick with him or if he's going to drop back a wee bit.
Interestingly, on the pack cam, Steve F1 looks quicker through the knuckles than Jimmy, and I think Jimmy's on the inters as Critical's too much on. That may be a penalty. That one, as Artpal retakes the place, but his wets are starting to burn up. Steve F1 did pass Jimmy, but now Jimmy's coming back at him. Artpal, well, I was going to say deep, but maybe he's just going for the moisture. So Jimmy has got back ahead, and Jimmy is on the inters. Tricky. Inters looking better than wets at the moment. Slicks, maybe. Right as well.
But could Steve F1 slicks be colder than people getting a new set of slicks because he's stayed out in the rain?
Could be.
And it's going to take longer for them to heat up?
Maybe. What it will have done is made them last a bit longer. Jimmy's just gone massively deep again and screwed these off. Artpal, looking at his tyres, needs to pit. And you know what? Looking at the gap that these two have got to Steve F1 in 3rd place, I think these two could pit now and be in a really strong position if they go for the slicks. Because if they're not coming out ahead of Steve F1, I don't think they'd be that far behind with a fresh set of tyres. And Artpal is into the pits, but Critical's carried on.
Oh, that might be the end of the race.
It might be. SRI trying to fend off Demon R still. Twilight closed in on them now as well. And SGP, I believe all these guys and Jason are on the slick tyre now, with them all having pitted. So where's Artpal going to come out? I think he's going to come out ahead. He has. He's way ahead of this pack.
He just needs to keep on the dry stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Twilight, SGP side by side down into turn 1. Now you do want to be braking on the racing line, but SGP has the inside line, manages to hold on and keep it on the road for the moment. This is where it's now treacherous for the slick tyres, through the knuckles, through Dunlop, through the Dagners, through the hairpin, through the R200, through Screw, through the R130.
That's my own crack.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those as well where the curbs are going to be so damp and slippy. So through the Dagners, we've seen a few. Oh wow! I think he just got an apex curb there and a big twist on him, and out wide he went. Yeah, easily done. As Twilight trying to fend off Jason, he's done just that. But I think he's waiting for him because he did kind of nudge him to the gravel a little bit. SGP, trying to give Twilight a bump start there by the looks of it.
Yeah, I think he stalled it there.
You might be right. Okay, now Artpal has come back out in 3rd place, but he has got somebody right behind him. I'm not sure exactly who it is. Twilight looks to be struggling a little bit. Maybe he's got his tyres cold. Okay, Demon R, SRI.
He bagged Artpal.
Oh, yes it is. So, hey, we saw him pit early, didn't we? So he's gone for the slick tyres, and he's currently legit in 4th place with Artpal in 3rd. Now, are they going to be catching Steve F1? Critical on the pack cam goes for the pit. I fear it may have been 1 lap too late, unless he didn't think he could get the slicks to the end from here.
He was on inters.
Yeah, I mean, he probably doesn't think he can get the slicks to the end from now.
Alright.
Yeah. Okay, weather radar there. There's nothing on it, so definitely time to go for this tyre. Where is Critical going to come out? Is SRI on inters?
I don't know.
Where's Hay? I was going to say where's Hay gone, but Hay's in 2nd place. Artpal's dropped 4th, so something has happened with Artpal.
Critical's... Yeah, because Critical was...
Artpal's gone!
Critical was...
Oh, there he is! Well, yeah, Critical was leading, but pitted from the inters for the slicks. But Hay was behind Art Pal, so something must have happened with Art Pal. Didn't see it, but then I did see he's gone off again at turn 1 and 2. So Hay now legit second place, Critical legit third on slick tyres, fresher than the 2 cars ahead. So maybe it was the right decision for him. Oh, maybe not. Oh no, into the gravel. Can he keep it going? Can he keep it going? And now he's got SRI up his rear. Oh, he's got a bit of a twitch and a bit of a slide, a bit of a slide and a bit of a twitch.
That was lucky for Dimonari. Kept that there. As Jason, SGP, Art Pal, Nelly, and Twilight joining this group behind Critical.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Critical, that moment was put him under a lot of pressure now as SGP and Jason side by side. I think Critical and SRI are almost side by side as well. Yes, they are side by side. But yeah, that's given Hay a bit of a gap to Steve to third place, so he can now focus on trying to catch Steve F1 and SRI and Critical are side by side, heading down to the R130. This is Critical's first lap on the slicks into this corner. Let's see how they get on. SRI taking a nice bit of curb, gets the position. Here comes Demon R as well, but this could get tricky now. Positioning, entry, mid corner, exit. It's all.
Yep, definitely. Critical managed to get back in front of SRI on that walk.
Danger, going 3 wide on the pack cam behind Demon R and behind SGP as SRI on the inside into 1. A little bit of a slide. Someone's gone massively deep. And I think there's a few cars off on the entry into 1. I mentioned there was 3 wide behind Jason, behind SGP. They're not 3 wide anymore, they're 3 off the track. That's got a little bit sideways there. And he isn't on the inters, so why on earth would he have been finding the wet bit down the main straight on the previous lap?
I think he's done it both laps. Is he trying to keep them cool so they'll go further?
Maybe. I mean, we did mention that Steve F1 having gone through the full wet on the slicks. I mean, it's kind of, in a way, worked for him. Oh, Critical takes that too much curb on the exit again, gets sideways, goes through his old tyre tracks, manages to keep going. Yes. Oh, Jason's off as well, I think.
Yeah. Just seen it in the back cam, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see exactly what happened, I just saw him facing the wrong way. Critical's gone a little bit wide. SGP on him now. And to be honest, the circuit's still a little damp where SGP's got now. So maybe we can get this movement around the outside. Yeah, there are still a few patches of moisture on the tarmac, plenty on the curbs.
Yeah.
I'm going to try going around the outside here, because that's going to happen. Oh no, Critical. Oh dear. Oh no, that's a shame. Okay, so what we've got, SRI, Demon R battling.
Yeah, fantastic race by these two. They're top in the championship at the minute, and they're providing a good battle.
That they are, and they are closing in on Hay, who, yeah, he's dropped away from Steve F1. No offence to Hay, he knows he's not as fast as the likes of Steve F1, but he's legit in second place. And again, SRI going over to find the wet bit, so it must be for tyre cooling to try and make the tyres last longer. What you have to make sure you don't do is then go on to the next corner. So they're definitely closing in on Hay. It's looking very misty, but with us not having seen the weather radar for a while, right, I'm guessing we haven't got any rain coming in. And to be fair, the clouds in the sky are looking a little bit brighter now.
Yeah, it looks a lot brighter, especially at turn 1, 2 there. Hey, SRI on the back of he's trying to get around, he's not.
Oh, yeah, he's trying to get round through the knuckles. It's not easy to do. It looks like Hay.
Oh, he's on the way.
He is, yeah, I think he was just. Oh, now he's off big time. Oh dear. You know what? I think here comes SGP, and you know, Hayes navigated that one quite nicely, trying to make sure he returns safely. I can't believe Rich is just smacking his doors in.
I know, he's off the track as well.
Okay, look at Steve F1's tyres. They are, what, 50% gone on the front? You compare that to SRI and Demon R's, I think they've got about 20% gone on the front. Yeah, so there's the difference. SRI's tyres looking a little bit better, but it's got a bit wide. Demon R's nearly following him. Can SRI stay on track? Yes, he has. But loses the position. And on the pack cam, it's busy, and a couple of cars have gone wide. It's not raining again, really.
I don't know.
I don't think it is.
Doesn't look like it.
No.
Doesn't look like it.
Maybe they just got a damp bit. Okay, so Dignard now in second with the battle here with Art Pal and Jimmy. There's Art Pal goes around the outside. Nice. We've seen some nice overtakes through the R130 so far. Good to see. As the traffic makes their way through the chicane. And to not try and rhyme, are we going to have more rain? That, I mean, that would throw a spanner in the works, wouldn't it? If we had a last minute downpour with all these drivers on slicks. Okay.
Yeah, and see who braves it out in the slicks and who braves it into the pits.
Did you mean to rhyme as well?
No.
No. It's just natural talent. Talking about
That's
talent.
why I'm a commentator.
Talking about talent, I used to date a girl that had a parrot. Bloody thing never shut up. The parrot. Okay, Art Pal on at the back of Nelly as they make their way through Dunlop. Critical closing in once again. Critical struggled a little bit with the Degners, and it looks like he's going to try and make a move, but you don't want to be on the outside on that curb. Where he is? Oh, because it's sideways.
Oh, Critical's done it again. He keeps touching that. It's the outside curb where it changes, and he's hitting the brakes as SRI's having a go at Demon R. Yeah, if you watch down at the Degners, there's a curb and then there's a change, and if you hit the brakes on it, it spins you out. We found that out in practice. Steve F1 done it a few times. I think I done it once as well.
Okay, weather radar popping up on the screen. So
it's something in the corner. Something in the corner of that weather radar.
You might be right. Okay, so yeah, Demon R looked like he went a bit deep at the hairpin. That gave SRI an opportunity. SRI now, he's got a little deeper spoon, but he's attacking. Can they get? Is he going to try and do it round the outside in the R130? He's going to try. The grip may be there. And side by side, they still go into the final corner as the pack is very busy still. Demon R just manages to hold on. He's closing that gap. But yeah, so these two, if they start battling like they are doing, I think Steve F1, that gap's going to open up, which I think it has done. Oh.
Yeah, SRI's still sticking to the wall near enough.
We've got a couple of cars gone into the pits. Jimmy, Twilight, I think it was. Art Powell's
we did see something on the corner of the radar, but I wasn't keeping an eye on it, and if it had moved further in to the middle of the radar, so are they reacting early?
Possibly.
It's getting dark on the pack cam, you can see dark clouds.
I'm pretty sure I just saw it, yes, I did, I'm sure as well I saw it flash up with Jimmy on the intermediate tyre. So I think, okay, there's the weather radar, so it's that definitely going to rain, light blue cloud rain.
Yeah, got it pushed down with that definitely blue. Well, I think it's green, it's just the way the background colour is.
No, that's
like light green, light pasty green. Oh, Demon R a wee bit deep.
Yeah, deep into the hairpin once again on the pack cam. Critical making a move on Nelly into the hairpin. Demon R's tyres have taken a bit more punishment now. Maybe that's why he's been running a bit deep in the hairpin. But if that's the case, I wonder what Steve F1's tyres are like. Well, Demon R was going well wide then. But no, managed to keep him on the circuit. What I was going to say though, Race, I mean, if Jimmy and Twilight and if anybody else is sort of gambling on the wet weather, they're effectively driving on the intermediate tyre on a bone dry track.
It's just going to burn them up. Like here at down to the 130R, it's blue skies.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Nelly and Critical still battling it out. On the pack cam, we did see Demon R and SRI for a moment. I can't imagine any of these are going to dive into, well, Albert Front are going to dive into the pits at the moment, and they're not, they're continuing on. Art Pal's gone before the pit, so's Critical, so's Nelly. Okay, as SRI trying to make the move round the outside into the first corner. It can be done, but it's tricky. They get through. This allows SGP to close that gap up a little more.
Yeah, SRI's trying to give Demon R some lip service.
On his rear end.
Yeah,
That could be. Oh!
A wee sweet little mystery.
There's a few yellow bits in that cloud.
Oh, yeah.
But at the moment, I don't think that's actually going to hit circuit. SRI trying to get up the outside into the deckers. Can they get through? Avoid the curb. And SRI gets off the curb as soon as he can. And again, SGP closes the gap as SRI gets a little squirrely. Okay.
Yeah, being brave, SRI. He's trying to prove something or something here.
Yeah, quite possibly. SGP now definitely in this fight. Art Pal, who I believe was pitted, is right behind Jimmy, who pitted 2 laps ago. It would be interesting to see what his tyres are like. Rich Blues and Hay are in 5th and 6th at the moment. I don't know what tyres they're on. I don't think Rich is on wets. No, he's on racing hards and they're fairly new. Oh, Jimmy's off.
Jimmy pitted.
Oh!
Who's in inters? Critical's in inters, Nelly's on inters, Jimmy's on inters, Twilight's on inters.
We got pink and
Jason's
purples.
on inters. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't looking
But
at the
their inters are burning up.
Oh, it's raining.
So they're going to... It's raining into the 130R. Oh, is that 130R?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, it is. Okay, so Hay on the hard tyres has passed Rich Blues, but now they're coming into the rain, down into the R130, and it's absolutely covering it down. Oh my goodness me.
Rich is dabbing the brakes. Hayes got round it. Rich got round it, I think.
Well, Steve F1's carried on, so has Demon R and SRI and SGP, because I think in this situation, well,
you get 2 laps to go. Well, how far ahead are they? They're quite a bit ahead.
It's looking alright. It's not raining here though, is it? No, it is. It's pissing it down again. Oh, oh my, it's a deluge. Steve F1's off. Demon R's off.
He was ahead of SRI into that corner and then he's went off. SGP just holding on.
Yeah, okay, so the front 4 having a few dramas, but then the wipers aren't going. You know what? It's patchy rain. Who's the first on any kind of... Oh, there's a big pink bit coming, Ray. Oh dear, this...
Oh, aye.
Oh, aye. Art Pal, I think, is the first on intermediate tyres. They've burnt up a lot. But if you get another deluge, they might survive. I mean, he's a long way off the front 4, but if that rain comes hard, which it kind of is doing, it's definitely... I was going to say coming hard for Steve F1, but I didn't... Oh, no, it's not. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, my goodness. Oh, dear.
It's starting now, it's now.
Oh!
Steve F1, he's going straight on. He's got no tyres for grip.
No, SRI struggling.
SRI's struggling. SGP's slowed it right down.
Demon R's stayed on the track for the moment, but Steve F1 still ahead. There's a bit of a drift. that will have helped Artpal close that gap up. His tyres should now not be burning up. As okay, Nelly's on the inters. I wonder what Critical's on.
I think he's inters as well. These were all inters.
Okay.
Except from Rich Blues and Hay. I think they were. Steve F1 was off again.
Yeah, the R130. I mean, it's going to be harder for Steve F1 to keep going in this condition because his tyres are more worn. And yeah, because he's had an off, he's had another off and another off as Nelly on the pack cam gives Critical a little nudge through the R130. SRI's carried on to start the final lap of the race, but it's pushing it down again. It's not SRI's windscreen wipers ain't going, but SGP's are. No, they're not. They were at the start of the straight. This is insane. Yeah. Is it pushing? No, it's not. His wipers aren't going. This is so hard to tell. Okay, Critical on the.
Is it pushing down? Just check that out. Wipers.
Yeah. And you know what though? This gaggle of cars on the intermediate tyres is really closing in on the back of Steve F1.
He could be in further danger if one more downpour enough. I reckon they'll be on the back of him.
I think that's right. Well, saying that, Critical inters have started to burn up again, but he's not really looking for the damp patches, is he, at the moment? And that's the thing. If you're on the inters on a drying racing line, it will burn them up a bit more. You need to be hunting for the wet bits. The problem with that is if he does that, he may get attacked by Nelly. Then Nelly's inters aren't great either. Oh, Paul's gone deep! Oh no. Okay, SRI, leader of the race, into the hairpin. SGP closing that gap up. I mean, I said a bit ago it'd be interesting if we had a bit of a race towards the end. It's never been interesting. Go on, give us another damp in the middle of Spoon would be absolutely brilliant. It kind of doesn't like it is raining over there, but it isn't because there's no wipers going, so let's see if SRI can fend off SGP. And in these positions, would probably put SRI into the championship lead and pole position at the next race, but he's got SGP, sorry, looking to the inside to make the move.
Yep, and they're coming up to the 130R. Is MD going to back down? Are they going to back down?
Well, SRI don't know how to back out. Oh, but it... Oh
no, contact!
Wibbly wobbly, here comes Demon R! I think SGP's just gone defensive like Prost. Now, Demon R tried to do the switchback by looks of it, but tagged SGP. And is SGP going to hold on? He is. He's going to take the victory here at Suzuka. Demon R second place, SRI third. Steve F1 has held on for fourth. Hey, is in fifth place, Ray. Yeah, well done, hey.
Berko managed to keep his tyres going there a wee bit.
Yeah, Jason,
really?
then Artpal, Rich Blues. There must have been something happening on the pack count, in that last half a lap there that we didn't really get to see, and probably tyres going off for a few people. But yeah, with that battle up at the front, focusing on that unfortunately. For Jimmy though, he did end up having to go back to the slick tyre. And Formula Gary, he's stuck it out on the wet, but you know what, he's made them last quite well. You know, he's obviously been hunting for the damp patches, which there may be a few in his conservatory if there isn't a roof on it yet. But across the line, Formula Gary will go. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, on the exit of Spoon, SRI was in a position to be leading the championship. On the exit of the R130, it was nearly heading towards the barriers.
Yeah, it was close.
That it was. Well done to SGP. Well, I say well done. I mean, I didn't see it there. You mentioned there may have been a bit of contact, so... Oh, excuse me, maybe it isn't well done. Maybe it's, have we got a report, or is there a penalty? Could we see another Monza from last year penalty application between SGP and SRI?
Are you waiting for an answer?
I was, yeah. As a commentator.
No, not.
No. Okay.
Doesn't want to repeat a answer.
Okay, well, we'll have a look at the confirmed race result then, because there hasn't been any reports placed. I know there was a couple of things that we did want to talk about, though, but yeah, so SGP with a victory. That's 4 winners now in 4 races. Obviously, you'd have 4 winners of 4 races, but 4 different winners in 4 races, which is really good. Demon R 2nd place, SRI 3rd, Steve F1. I think he was so unlucky with where he was on track when those downpours came, because he just couldn't keep it on the road, but recovered for 4th. Hay, though, what a race Hay's had. He was legit 3rd, then legit 2nd, legit in a potential situation, perhaps trying to win the race. It looked like he was trying to not be in the way for SRI and Demon R, which I can kind of understand. Perhaps feeling like that's not his race, but I suppose in that situation I can understand it. But at the same time, that's where I would perhaps say, you may feel that that's not your race, but in these kind of conditions, there's absolutely nothing wrong with going, well, I'm ahead, I'm going to be on the racing line, so if you want to pass me, you're going to have to go on the wet bit to do it. Now, I might not fight you, but I'm not just going to move over, because unfortunately for Hay, he's got his tyres wet, then it hasn't slowed down, then he's gone off, and he's gone from 2nd place to near enough last, but to then recover to 5th, absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely. Good drive from here,
Yeah.
to be honest. We've seen him in a lot of the battles as well, within the pack.
Yeah. Critical, 6th place. Just about used every tyre. Probably used every tyre that isn't available as well. Got the call for an early pit stop absolutely spot on, didn't he? I think it was the first time went to Inters after it had dried a bit. So see, that gamble he made there was absolutely perfect. I think if he'd have pitted a lap before Artpal for the slicks, or a lap, the same lap as Artpal, I think he would have had a much better chance of winning the race. But because he went that lap extra on the Inters, he lost a little bit more time, and then when he came out of the pits, that little bit closer to SRI and the pack behind.
Yeah, and then he had a couple of mistakes at the, sorry, I thought I heard a noise. A couple of mistakes. This just going into the second Degner, didn't he? So he got caught out twice there.
Yeah.
So that gave him a little bit of trouble.
The thing is, it's so easily done, but it's one of those where, I mean, there is something else I'll mention in a moment. But so, I know that Demon R had no practice for this race, and Demon R knew in the wet or even in the dry, when the curbs are wet, don't go anywhere near that curb, because if you do, you'll go sideways, especially in the wet. And that's nothing to do with having done loads of testing before the season or anything like that. It's just experience of, in the dry, if you get on the wrong bit of that curb, you can spin. If you've got your wheels on the AstroTurf, when you hit the brakes, you can spin. So if you're on there in the wet, you can definitely spin. So yeah, I think in a way, perhaps for critical, just trying to take a little too much speed into the first part, which was putting him on the curb. And in hindsight, take a bit off on the way in, stay away from the curb, you'll then go faster through the second bit, yeah. But having said that, in these conditions, anyone can spin there at any point, and I think most people did in this race, just because of the nature of the conditions. But yeah, fascinating race with the Inters wets, and gambling for the Inters at the end. I think there was Critical, Jason, Artpal, Nelly, Twilight, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
I mean, Gary.
Gary, I don't know, but he was on the wets at the end,
Yeah,
so he might have went full wet.
well, maybe. I mean, okay, quickly mention the positions of like further positions. So Critical's 6th, Jason 7th, Art Pal 8th, Rich Blues in 9th, Nelly 10th, Twilight 11th, Jimmy 12th, Formula Gary in 13th, and yes, Formula Gary was on the wets. But I think Gary went to the wets closer to when it rained. Whereas the other guys, I think Jimmy and Twilight pitted 2 laps before the rain came.
Yeah.
So their inters were dead pretty much by the time the rain came. Was it Critical? I'm not sure about Jason. Maybe at the same time, Art Pal, maybe Rich Blues and Nelly pitted a lap after Jimmy and Twilight, I think. So that lap on the dry and the intermediate tyres has meant that when the rains come, their tyres have suffered a lot more. And it's one of those, had they I actually think, had they pitted okay, Jimmy, I'm trying to get this out correctly. Jimmy and Twilight pitted 2 laps too soon. If all of them had pitted 2 laps later, their inters would have dominated the end of that race. Because they wouldn't have taken punishment to begin with. They'd have got through those wet conditions while those on slicks were spinning off. And then as the track started to dry up a little bit at the end, they would have had life left in the tyres. Whereas because they pitted before any rain came, that life was used up. So yeah, massively unfortunate too. But having said that, Ray, that's why we're doing this championship, isn't it? So the drivers can work out what works, what doesn't work in the wet conditions.
Yep. There's should be no reason why we can't use dynamic weather from everyone in.
Absolutely. And for Formula Gary, if he's waited until the rain's actually coming down, gone into the pits for the full wets, he's come out. Actually, you know what? I do remember, saw Gary in the barrier at the final chicane. So that would have been when he then, on the slicks, he then went into the pits. So his full wet tyre, obviously comes out of the pits, perfect conditions for the full wet tyre, and the tyre lasted to the end of the race. I mean, he possibly could have gone 1 lap earlier. But, yeah, that's why Gary's wet tyre lasted in those last couple of laps. So there was something I wanted to talk about a little bit. I mentioned during the race, which was the tyre wear. And so, I mean, I think in a way I'd like to kind of openly discuss this. So for any of the drivers that are still watching this bit or listening to this bit, I think it's interesting. Okay, so here it would appear that the tyres have worn quite aggressively. We saw for SGP early on. We saw for a few of the drivers perhaps towards the end. So I'm just wondering what your thoughts might be on how the tyres are degrading at this moment in time. Yeah.
I've not had an issue.
Well, no.
I've not had an issue, so I don't know.
Sort of that testing you've been doing.
No,
but
well,
no, to be fair, you have. No, it's not the testing. You have genuinely been doing a lot more practice, and that does help you to know what the tyres can and can't do.
Yeah, like I've not had an issue. Like I think I don't know if it's just the luck of pitting, getting the luck of pitting right, or sorry, the luck of pitting. That's helped, but and for me, I'm usually one that will take that chance of pitting early for racing hards.
Mm-hmm.
I always have. I always have done. Even when you say it's too early for racing hards, like I'll still pit and I'll go out and then I'll find out. Right, that was
Yeah, I
too
mean,
early for
yeah.
pits.
Well, that's the
Yeah,
benefit of practice, though, isn't it? That you can go, right, well, this probably is too early, but you know what? I'm going to try it.
yeah,
And for those drivers that don't get to practice, they're learning that in the races. But again, that's why we're doing this championship, so the drivers will learn in that situation. Um, and yeah, so it's, I suppose it depends on how you look at it. I mean, we tried to do minimal testing for this championship. It was literally, right, which tracks have got rain? Okay, of those tracks, which ones do we not want to race at? Right, bugger them off. We got our track list. Then it was a case of, right, let's work on the tyres. Let's see what tyre wear we want. And in the end, when we tested it, it was literally, right, get on a track and see how many laps on a sunny, bone dry day the wet tyre will do, and what we would want the wet tyre to be able to do on a bone dry track. And we kind of sort of agreed on lap and a half, maybe 2 laps at a push on the full wet. The inters 2 laps, maybe 3 laps at a push on a bone dry track. And in the testing, that was absolutely fine. But it almost looks like when we've come to some of the races, like for SGP here today, he started a lap on the wet tyres with, 75% life left in the tyre. But before the end of the lap, his grip has gone, which does seem to be...
Then we didn't test it on every track of this season. We done it on a track, so there's different tyre decks for this track. We know this track is a killer for tyres.
Yeah, I mean that is true.
So because this is what you're saying is kind of leading into one of the things I want to clear up as well. Like you said with the testing, but we only done that test on one track. We didn't take it to other tracks and do it. Yeah. We just done it on one track and went, okay, the last thing. We didn't even think, oh, what about the other tracks?
No, that is true. We used it on. We tested on a track, which is a bit of a tire killer, as well, and we also decided that that track would be the last race of this championship, so that every other driver, by the time we get to that track, will have driven this car in the wet at 8 tracks before. So any gain we would have had from testing the tyre wear at that circuit is effectively, I would say, negated, because the drivers will have been in the car for the whole championship by the time we get to that point. But I think you're right in a way that Suzuka is quite a tyre punisher. So's Fuji for that fact. But there is an interesting situation that we're sort of talking about at the moment, which is that when we tested, obviously there was only 4 of us doing it, and it would appear that not that the tyre wear is harsher when there's more cars on track, because it isn't. The tyre wear rate is set at a certain point, and that's what its level of wear is. That doesn't differ if there's 2 cars on track or 14. But what may differ, as we're learning from this championship in a wet condition, is when there's 4 cars on track compared to 14 cars on track, 14 dries the road up a bit quicker, makes that drier line wider, which then means there's less moisture to drive on, which then means it could heat up the wets and heat up the inters more. And that's something that we hadn't really thought of or factored. It's only since we've been doing the races that it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, because in some of the practices, as I'm sure you found out recently with all your secret practice, when there's 3 or 4 of you in the lobby, it does seem to take a bit longer to dry up. But when there's 13, 14, it does seem to dry up quicker.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of like probably just like in real life. 4 cars try to clean and dry up a track compared to 14.
Yeah.
There would be a massive difference, and hats off to the game for incorporating that, if that is truthful.
Yeah, because games in the past that have had rain, I know some of the F1 games, it didn't matter how many cars you had on the track. It dried up at a certain rate, to a certain level regardless. It wasn't kind of realistic. I mean, I don't know if Gran Turismo has what's known as real roads, because I don't think it goes that in depth. And for anyone that doesn't know, real roads in racing simulator terms is that when you drive on the track, you lay down rubber. And so if you were to drive round Suzuka off the racing line in every corner, you would actually make that a grippier part of the circuit. So I don't think Gran Turismo has gone that far, but it does appear that it has more dynamicism, that's not a word, but I'm going with it, than it would first appear, which, yeah, I mean, makes sense and is a good thing. Now, it could beg the question, well, if more cars on track is burning up the wets and the inters more, should the wear rate changed? And personally, I'd say no. To that one. Don't know about you.
Sorry, I was looking up for
real roads. Gran Turismo. We found. Yeah, the question is, if anyone was thinking, should the wear rate be changed? My answer would be no.
Mine would be no as well.
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean,
I don't have a. I've not had an issue yet, so why would that?
Exactly. You're currently second in the championship with a chance of winning it, and so it's not an issue until it becomes an issue. But yeah, it's. I mean, I think perhaps in future championships. Well, let's put it this way. The next championship, hopefully some of the details are going to be announced this weekend coming. And for that championship, I believe we are looking at having dynamic weather on. But the tyre wear rate in that one is going to be much less of a factor. So the idea of that championship isn't about how your tyres last. So if it rains and the wet tyres last better as it gets drier, then that'll be interesting. Because it'll be interesting to see how much slower a wet tyre would be on a bone dry track than a racing tyre on a bone dry track. So it'll bring potentially a different dynamic to it. But yeah, so it'd be interesting to see how things go forward with that. But also, I think if we were to change the level of wear rate for this championship, it would be too easy. Okay, if you change the wear rate so that the wets and inters lasted better, what you'd also be doing is changing the wear rate for the racing tyre, the slick tyre. And in a race like this one today, had it stayed dry all the way to the end, Steve F1 might not have had any tyres left at the end. But if we change the tyre wear rate, is easy getting to the end. So you could protect one bit, but then take away from another bit. So yeah. Learn from this championship, folks, and we'll enjoy it as it goes on, hopefully. Now the question, Ray, is what's the next track?
Oh,
we did. Oh, I know.
What's the next track?
It's only got one right-hand corner.
Oh, high speed ring.
High speed ring.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's not the most difficult of circuits. However, when you introduce rain there, it is difficult. For example, anyone that tries going up the inside in the wet conditions in the final corner is going to meet the barrier on the outside of the track. So yeah, it's going to be tough. There's going to be crashes, there's going to be smashes, there might even be arguments, but
that's not just though. When it changes from wet to dry, where does a dry line go in turn 2?
Well, yeah, I mean that's a good point, because the fastest line around turn 2 in the dry is not where the racing line is, and this is a good example of the proof that GT doesn't have real road, because if it did, then through the course of a race, the high line around turn 2 would become rubbered up and grippier. To be fair, it's grippier than the racing line anyway, faster as well. It's a lot like Zandvoort's turn 3, that big banked corner, isn't it? At Zandvoort, where they initially thought that the racing line was going to be down the bottom, until Fernando Alonso went, oh, I wonder what happens if you go up the top, and passed a load of cars. And it was like, oh, okay, the faster, right, okay, it's up there. So as the circuit dries, if you're on slicks, you're not going to be able to take that higher, faster line. Because if you do, you're going to be in the wet and in the barrier. And thinking about it, I'm pretty sure, was it the Radical that we raced there when it rained a bit? And we did have a lot of dramas at turn 2 and the final corner. Because where you would normally drive the car isn't where you then have to drive the car.
Oh, I can't remember.
Well, I
It
bet.
was weather.
Yeah, with the Radical we did, yeah. We had weather at every race, but it just never bloody rained at most of them. But yeah, right, okay. Waffled on a little bit here, but there we go. Quick question for you though, right? Why don't vegetarians moan during sex?
Why don't I don't know.
Because they don't want to admit that a piece of meat makes them happy.
Oh, I've seen that the other day as well.
Well, there you go. Right, well, Ray, thank you for joining us on commentary.
No worries. Thank you for having us.
You're
Thank you to the guys in the background and the drivers.
Right, and on that, let's have a look at the confirmed standings for what will be the grid at the next race. Confirmation then of the standings. Demon R leading the way, 69 points. He's now 4 ahead of SRI and SGP, who are tied second place on 65 points. Steve F1 in 4th on 56. And then we've got Nelly in 5th place on 45. He's 3 ahead of Jason in 6th place. And then we've got Rich Blues and Hay tied for 7th. Great results for them so far. 33 points for both of them. Twilight, 9th place, 32 points for him. And then we've got Critical in 10th place with 26. Formula Gary in 11th on 19. He's 1 ahead of Art Pal, who's on 18, who is 3 ahead of Jimmy, who is on 15. Bob is yet to score, as he's not been able to make any of the races so far. And as it's shown on the screen, a couple of seats are available, so if you do want to get involved in the Dynamic GT League, check out the Facebook page. I think the link is in the description, and drop us a message and we'll get you involved in the practice sessions on a Thursday to look at getting into the races on Mondays. Okay, it's been another eventful race week in the Dynamic GT League. I've got a feeling the next one's going to be even more eventful. So there's only one way to find out how it's going to go, and that is to join us for all of the action. And yeah, let's see how it goes. Have a good one, everybody, and we'll see you all again soon.